The African Israelite Justice Foundation is not your usual legal practice. You see, we focus primarily on cases involving injustice against African Israelite groups or injustice against individuals because he or she identifies as an African Israelite or an Israelite of African descent. In other words, we are not a general legal practice. Instead, we specialize on African Israelite cases. And also, family, please keep in mind, we are a brand new organization, not affiliated with any existing organizations. However, it is our hope to establish connections with all African Israelite groups and people here in the States and around the world. Family, we need to hear your stories of injustice so that we can begin to record, investigate, and identify the enemies of Israel hiding behind the veil, and then ultimately hold them accountable in a court of law. And as stated before, we are a brand new organization with limited funds, and we are in the process of expanding our resources to further enhance our legal team, who will litigate our cases. And if you would like to join this historic cause, please share this message all over social media. Spread this message of IsraeliteJustice.org worldwide. And get this message from Kyrie to Kanye, from Whoopi Goldberg to Nick Cannon. And also share your stories of injustice or donate to the cause. And if you so choose to, you can remain anonymous and let us do all the work. After all, that's what the Israelite Justice Foundation is here for. We are here to fight for your right to be Israel. As always, thank you in advance. We appreciate you and love you, Israel. Take care, family. Shalom. Thus Eve and Adam both ate the forbidden fruit. And they heard the voice of Yahuwah walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahuwah called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And Adam heard Yahuwah's voice in the garden and hid himself, telling Yahuwah he was naked and afraid.
Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
Therefore, Yahuwah sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. And thus, separated from Yahuwah, it had to seem as though all was lost. However, Yahuwah, who sees the end from the very beginning, already had a plan of redemption for the sons of Adam, which would take thousands of years to come to pass, and the crying out of his people. Yahuwah's mercy and grace would strengthen and sustain his people. However, from that day forward, there would be enmity between Adam's seed and the seed of the serpent to this very day. And just who is this serpent seed destined to fight against Yahuwah's own creation? Are they metaphorical, or are they an actual, tangible, living, breathing people walking upon the earth today? Well, if the seed of Adam is real, then that means the seed of Hasatan is real, also walking upon the earth. And with that, let's take a closer look. And for this, let's go back to the time of Noah, to the time of the giants, a time when giants roamed the earth, when beings of great stature would suck the flesh of the bones of men, barbarian savages called Raphaim, Emim, Zumzim, or simply called terrors. During the time of Noah, the time of the giants, great wickedness abound, and Yahuwah determined to cleanse the earth of this great evil by sending a great and mighty flood upon the earth. And it was so. And everything that was on the face of the earth was destroyed. However, giants not only dwelt on the face of the earth, they also dwelt beneath it, in caves. And whether or not these subterranean giants were destroyed by the flood, nobody knows. However, we do find giants roaming the earth after the flood in the territories close to Esau. Esau married into the Horites, who were neighbors with the Emim, the giants. Esau also married into the Hittites, who were neighbors with the Anakim, the giants. And yes, Esau dwelt in caves, just like the Horites, and just like the giants. We find giants living in and around the land of Israel many years after the flood. In fact, King David and Yahusha fought against these giants and won. According to the Bible, the children of Israel were very familiar with fighting these giants, who were driven from the land by the mighty hand of Yahuwah. And the question is, where did they go? According to Joshua chapter 11, verse 22, they were driven to the cities of Ashdod, Gath, and Gaza, with Ashdod and Gaza being close to the Mediterranean Sea. So, did these giants make their escape across the Great Sea? America being an accurate description of the New World. And the following reference reads, and it reads, "Moreover, the Peruvians themselves give some small testimony in their ancient records of a few that landed of old upon their coast, which were, as they say, mighty and cruel giants, committing much bloodshed, slaughtering the natives everywhere, and having subdued the whole country, built stately edifices, of which remain yet the ruins of some foundations, very artificial and costly. They also showed near Manta in Puerto Viejo many huge bones, as they believe of giants, 3 times longer and thicker than an ordinary man. And the next reference reads, the next remark in this voyage was the discovery of an island not far from the former, where he found the footsteps of a gigantic people. Upon which 9 Spaniards went a league to search the country, where they saw 5 great huts standing in a spacious valley, and in them 2 old and 3 young women, each of them being twice as tall as an ordinary man. The old ones invited the Spaniards to eat, who, when they were sat down, consulted how they might take and carry one of these giantesses to Spain, there to show her for money. And then 36 giants came into them. Never did the sun shine on a more terrible people, which so amazed the Spaniards that their hair seemed to stand on end at the fear of them. Every giant was armed with a bow and arrows and a club. They, wondering at the 9 strangers, stood talking very earnestly one to another, which gave the Spaniards time to think of making their escape. Some judged it convenient to discharge their guns upon them, and in the smoke to run away. Others thought that it would be better to take a more milder course, which they all agreed on, and taking their leave went out of the hut. But were followed by the giants, who kept a stone's cast behind them, and went faster or slower as the Spaniards slackened or mended their pace, who at last getting to the shore, and from thence into their boats, they suddenly put off. But the giants then pursued them with eager speed, all of them leaping into the water, and swimming, shot abundance of arrows after them. But frightened by the thunder of 2 great guns that were discharged from the ships, returned ashore and fled into the neighboring hills. Giants, identified in Scripture as the offspring of the forbidden union between fallen angels and man. But maybe you don't believe they exist because you haven't seen them for yourself. Well, maybe you're looking in the wrong place. How about this? Open your browser and go to raremaps.com. And then once you're on the webpage, in the search inventory search bar, type in giants. And then once you get your results back, sort your results by price by placing the most expensive map at the top of your list by clicking on the price button twice. And this will place a map which costs $100,000 at the top of your list. Select that map. And then once the map comes up, go to the right side of the map and zoom in, where you'll see the words Gigantu Regio, region of the giants. And zoom back out of your map and return to your list. And go down to the map which costs $29,500. Select that map and zoom in. You'll find the words Regio Gigantum, region of the giants. Then return to your list. And next, find the map which costs $24,500, created in 1652. Select that map. And zoom in to South America, where you'll find a picture of a giant. Right above the words Pentagones, which is the word that Magellan gave for the giants. Return to your list. Go down to your next map, which costs $17,500. Zoom in. Where you'll find the words Pentagons, the giants. Return to your list. And go down to the map which costs $9,500, created in 1610. Zoom into your map. And you'll find the words Blanco Gigantu Regio, region of the white giants. Return to your list. Or go down to the map which costs $8,500, created in 1544. Where you'll find the words Regio Gigantum, region of the giants. You see, family, it's easy to find giants if you know where to look. Now note, the land or region of the giants was consistently identified on old maps in southern Argentina, as well as reports of giants in Brazil, Central America, and North America, living in different places, manifesting in different shapes and sizes, and all having a thirst for man's flesh. As the following reference reads, and it reads, 7 leagues farther in the country, beyond the town of Isaios, lies a nameless lake 3 leagues long, as many broad, and above 10 fathoms deep, and full of the fish manati, which are very large and well tasted, besides abundance of crocodiles. And in windy weather the water is as rough as if it were in the ocean. Out of this lake flows a river by a passage so narrow that a boat can scarcely pass through the same. Beyond, round about this river, live the Gayumires, the most savage people of all America. They are of a gigantic size, have white skins, carry exceeding great bows and arrows, live without houses like beasts, devour men's flesh like tigers, never fight in companies or armies, but watch to surprise a single man or beast. They also eat their own children and possess formerly all the lands from the river San Francisco to the promontory Frio, but beaten from thence by the Tupanapas and the Tupanachas, they went to the country Los Iseos, which they invaded in such a manner that the Portuguese were not only forced to leave several sugar mills, but also the whole country. Thank goodness giants are no longer around. Or are they? You see, when angels mix with man, they cause a mutation within man, which transformed them into giants. In other words, the mixing caused a change in the biology of man. And the question is, does that mutation still exist within certain men's DNA today? Well, let's take a closer look. And the following reference reads, Life Science, unusual cluster of gigantism in Ireland traced to ancient gene, 2016. The land of giants. It sounds like something from a fairy tale, but it arguably exists in a region of Northern Ireland where a cluster of people with a genetic predisposition grow abnormally tall. In Mid-Ulster, about 1 in 150 people carry a genetic mutation to the AIP gene that leads to an overproduction of growth hormone resulting in acromegaly, also known as gigantism. The hormone disorder is spurred by a tumor on the pituitary gland, a pea-sized organ at the base of the brain. This is probably the highest proportion of giants in the whole world. In that little part of Northern Ireland, Marta Corbinetz, professor of endocrinology at Bart's and London School of Medicine, Queen Mary, tells Seeker. Corbinetz led the team that discovered the link between the AIP gene defect in Irish populations and gigantism in 2011. And unfortunately, giants weren't the only genetic mutation of man. We can also find another major mutation with the mixing of man and a group of humanoids referred to as Neanderthals or Horites.